Both these teams banning it pretty consistently, but we do have, although old, some footage of PB on this map.
This one is going to be fantastic. At least I'm hoping. I mean, this is what, we've already talked a little bit about. This could be a Stage 2 final type look here. Of course, that's getting a bit ahead of ourselves. They've got a long way to go. But this one, there's going to be a lot of VOD review done on this matchup, regardless of how things shake up going forward into the playoffs here. As we get into our bans, we know that this is going to be pretty standard stuff. It's Clubhouse after all, and our Thatcher and our Maverick to open things up mean nothing is super surprising, but it also means that the Kaid ban is likely soon to follow. First, the Mira will be taken off the board, so the Kaid likely second. No.
Oh.
The Valkyrie instead. This is going to be interesting here. So you've got the Valkyrie and the Mira taken off the board. That's a very good defensive bans most of the time, without taking a look at the attacker bans in play. But this, leaving up the Kaid and those Electro Claws, mean we are going to be seeing some spicy stuff on the attack if they want to get by these utility denial stuff.
And I wonder whether or not Parabellum were ready for this, because, like you touched on, a Kaid ban is almost guaranteed when there's no Maverick or Thatcher on the board. But are Orgless really going to take Kaid away from Prod?
Nah.
Even if they have to deal with it on their attack, are you really going to take that away from Prod? I don't think so. Prod has been an absolute demon on the operator, and he's going to look to continue to do so here on Clubhouse. So, some very interesting bans. Mira and Valkyrie, who were both left up in our previous Clubhouse game with OCG Lenny, are not going to be here. And round number one, we are already starting off with an Orgless roam. And we have a little bit of a switch on Parabellum. Normally, it's Penguin on Zoe. Almost every single game we have seen Penguin on Zoe. But it's actually Spirits on that operator now, not the Iana. And that's so Penguin can bring Kali.
Got to counter the Electric Claw somehow. I mean, that is likely the intent here. They don't want to have to rely on perfectly placed nades or some Zofia impacts to get the job done. You bring those Kali Lances, and you can very much have maybe a higher percentage chance of dealing with that Electro Claw, but that's the beauty of the Kaid, is that you can sneak those claws into places where even the Lances cannot touch them. The invulnerable Electro Claws is what we like to call them, and that is why he can be so potent when both the Maverick and the Thatcher are off the board. For now, though, the focus will remain on this top-down clear and how Parabellum want to cut off the rotation here of Orgless. We can see that's exactly Penguin's intent, pressuring here from Strip, while two players work their way in from the other side. That's going to be Eska and I believe that was Spirits as well, trying to get this crossfire going. Barring is that player being pressured out right now. Penguin just trying to force this castle out of this position. Got some soft destruction to work with and got some teammates coming in from the other side, but barring an excellent shot to open up the map. Penguin is there to get a trade, but here comes young Alec, a great drop down from above, and that is certainly going to shake things up. Round number one starting off spicy.
Wonderful play from young Alec and barring. Sonar is searching for the trade. He'll light young Alec up a bit through the wall, but it is no kill, and the Mozzie will continue to sit over towards Strip and just exude his presence. He doesn't need to push. It's what they like to call sometimes shadow pressure. It's something Parabellum have to worry about without Alec actually having to do anything. But now that they know someone's off the site, they might just go for this dirt rush. Spirits is going to drop down blue. He'll take a kill. The Aruni gate will be burned off. And the attackers are suddenly starting to flood the site. But Oasis is here close. He'll still lose to Kool-Aid. Gotcha will refrag. We're still even at 2 apiece. But Sonar cuts him down from the long haul rotate. It's just young Alec alone. He's got a C4 in hand as the plant is going down. And Sonar has to cover. In comes the push from blue. Sonar will see him butt for a second. The plant will go down, but young Alec kills the planter. A 1v1, but Sonar wins it out, shutting down the demon of young Alec, and PB able to recover round number one.
What we just saw there in round number one, I mean, I cannot wait to see the rest of these rounds here because we just saw so much happen. Started off Pretty standard stuff, but Parabellum, instead of going for the top-down clear, they wanted to cut off Orgless at the choke point. They didn't want them to be able to rotate back to the site. They wanted to cut them off and push the site and get those frags as a result. Orgless had something to say about that. Barring a great shot, young Alec a great flank, and that was huge. Young Alec nearly won the round for Orgless, but Parabellum, in all their wisdom, decided to switch it up. They said, you know what? We've got the shadow presence of young Alec nearby. We're worried about somebody else possibly lurking around and using the intel that young Alec now has to make us pay. We have one choice and one option. Let's push into the site fast. They pushed down blue, they pushed down dirt, they took control of the site, and with a couple of really well-placed shots, all of a sudden, young Alec was the last man standing, and the 2v1, that is something Parabellum are going to win every single time. We just saw some crazy high-level siege in round number 1, and now Orgless, they've got to match that, and they're going to head over to Jim and Master to do so.
God, dude, I'm almost getting chills, bro. I'm so hyped for the rest of this game. If it continues like round number 1, this is definitely going to be the best game we see all season. And I just want to point out, too, I just want to take a step back. A lot of people, because, you know, sometimes I go back in the VOD and I read chat. A lot of people have their doubts about Sonar. They say, oh, he's a coster. Oh, he doesn't consistently find his kills. But if you talk to Keegan, Penguin last name, about Sonar, he will say 100% confidence every time that Sonar does his damn job. And when he's needed to, we have seen Sonar clutch up like no other. And we just saw that on display, taking down young Alec, of all people. So, now that we have established that, I will not have any Sonar slander today. We'll have PB start their clear of cash. There's a lot of bodies they got to worry about over here. Jaeger on top red, young Alex supporting him from inside cash, as well as Gotcha down below, and there's Gotcha with the opening frag. He knocks off a hard breacher before being swiftly traded.
Yeah, Gotcha feeling quite confident on the alibi roll here. The MX4 Storm in hand will get aggressive, and while he gets a kill, he'll end up paying the price. But that kill onto Sonar, that's definitely a worthwhile trade for Orgless. You've lost somebody who really is just only a gunner at this point in the round. Alibi doesn't have a ton of utility that you want to persist later in the round that she hadn't put down as of yet. And taking out those X-Kairos pellets, limiting the hard breach potential to just Kool-Aid here, and one exothermic charge. Perfectly executed play from Gotcha. Penguin now hoping to recover this cash side presence, trying to deal with Barring, but Barring young Alec, in fact, has something to say about that. Thankfully, Penguin is there to play the trade. Kool-Aid now looking for another and delivering it. So Orgless, possibly overstaying their welcome on the cash side, will leave Oasis and Prod now alone on the site. Parabellum with a minute to work with. They're going to do the smart thing here, and they're going to start to take their time. They're going to drone out the site, figuring out what they're dealing with, and soon they'll realize that Prod, at least for a moment, is alone on the site. Prod tries to get that pre-fire onto Spirits, but Spirits will avoid that and rotate now around towards the master window instead. Oasis will turn his attention towards logistics because now, smartly so, Penguin will be pressuring from there as well.
Oasis gets the opening pick, though, that they need. That's on the Kool-Aid. That forfeits case control, and the C4 that we saw in the mute pre-place has not been used yet. As Penguin goes to recover this, he could be victim to that explosive from below, and that'll put it all in the hands of Spirits. Here he comes, but no, it's ripped too early. Penguin survives, and now he has control of Logi. He's got a drone to follow as well. Spirits calling out that Oasis is on the main stairs. That allows Penguin through Gold Vault. He'll take the long angle. He'll lose out, though, and that leaves it all up to Spirits, and he can't win against Prod in the bathroom. Orgless still take round number 2, despite the trades not going their way in the cash clear.
Yeah, rough start there from Orgless, but bringing it back in a massive way. Really would have liked that C4 to actually connect onto Penguin. That would have been a really big brain play, considering it would have been just a prediction that they would get a kill there and drop the diffuser in that exact position. But unfortunately, not getting that kill at the end of the day did not seem to matter. Penguin nearly had that kill onto the main stairs player. I thought that was a really smart play, droning that one out, but not taking the close angle fight, pushing through Gold Vault, pushing into the objective instead to create sort of an unexpected angle that maybe the main stairs player wasn't quite ready for. Had their sight been trained on the logistics doorway or on the construction doorway instead, but not paying off for Penguin there despite the intel. And Orgless, very happy to secure that round in that 2v3 situation. Well played from them. And so they'll head back over now to CCTV and Cash for the first time to see what they can manufacture here.
We've also got Gotcha still sticking the alibi, and he's putting the shield down in lounge. That'll provide some extra cover for whoever plays down there, likely a C4. I imagine it'll be Oasis or Prod. It's definitely something that Parabellum are going to have to contend with. They've also still got this Kali, and the Kali will unfortunately be ineffectual in clearing these Electro Claws. That's the big criticism of Kali, is that sure, she can take out mute jammers, sure, she can take out bandit batteries, but unless the Electro Claw is directly on the wall, it's hopeless for her. So I'm interested to see how Penguin plays with it. Maybe he's more preoccupied with clearing the utility off the garage walls, maybe even con wall. But luckily for PB, the Electro Claw that's downstairs isn't exactly hidden.
Do have to get there, though. To do that, you got to walk your way through Gotcha, but Spirits will make very quick work of the alibi, coming straight in through the secret window and removing Gotcha almost instantaneously. That's a really heads-up play from Parabellum, knowing they have to clear out below if they want to get this Electric Claw dealt with, if they want to make this one happen. And an opening pick like that is going to go quite a long way, because Gotcha is no longer able to hop out a window and take down Sonar like he was last round. He'll have to find his presence and make an impact on camera duty for the remainder of this round. A couple of drone shenanigans going on here, as we can see Parabellum trying to figure out what else is lurking down below. But in fact, they don't have much to deal with, and everyone else on Orgless has now rotated above, which will give Spirits the all-clear he needs to begin dealing with that Electro Claw and getting that wall on open. Young Alec, the next player to take a good bit of damage here, but he'll in fact win that gunfight with Eska. The Sledge, not exactly sure where he was pushing, but he'll lose out that gunfight. Oh, Young Alec making a big flank play over in Bar to shake things up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Eska was trying to push stock, you know, and play for the vert nades. Considering young Alec was downstairs, that seems like the most likely cause. Barring and Rafters will get one pick, but in comes Penguin. He's only able to find one before he's traded out, leaving it all up to Spirits. He gets one on red stairs, still two to find. Young Alec is lit up, so it's not undoable for this Zoph, as he's got plenty of bullets in the mag. But Oasis is holding close with that shotgun. He can't get rid of the cam either. That's a lot of good info being fed to the defenders now, and Spirits can do nothing about it unless he walks up and hits it with the butt of his gun. There's constant pings on this last player. There's 40 seconds for him to play with. He might be able to fake a plant, but of course, you know, the defenders are going to know exactly what's going on, and he can't win any of the remaining two gunfights. It's young Alec with the crossfire from construction to kill the last player, and Orgless will go up 2-1.
Yeah, that's well played from Orgless, and man, I mean, one piece of utility can change the course of the round, and, well, a bulletproof cam proving very key for that Orgless 2v1. Of course, it was a 2v1, and they were pretty close to play off each other. I don't think they were too worried about the situation regardless, but it's all about playing together in a 2v1 and not allowing any 1v1 engagements to find their way in the hands of Parabellum there, and well, all that intel at their fingertips, they knew we don't, in fact, have to peek one at a time. We don't even have to peek at all. We can sit here and wait for the Zofia to continue to struggle and try to find some hope in the round. And that was simply not the case for Spirits. Really well played there by Orgless, taking CCTV and Cash, following up a pretty strong gym defense as well. Pretty clear they've got that top floor on lock. But now they got to worry about this basement site. Last time they were here, they could not quite pull this out. A great adaptation from Parabellum, winning them the round. Orgless, now they'd like to prevent an adaptation from them even being necessary, allowing this hold on this top floor to maybe be a little bit more successful.
The last time, PB's adjustment was really the star of the show, but they got to work on their clear, first and foremost. And I mean, let's be honest. It would have maybe been a little bit easier if Barring didn't hit a disgusting shot from B1 all the way down the kitchen hall onto Eska with a nade in his hand. You know, that probably helped out a lot. But Penguin's on Flores. What can you do with the Flores? Let's see. I don't think he's going to have too much effect on the roam clear. I mean, maybe, hey, he can open up those castle barricades, and he can force people out of position. And once again, he's starting over from strip, so I'm curious to see how exactly he plays with it. Already, first Rotero drone coming out. I imagine it's meant to do away with this castle barricade on B1. So that makes Baring's fallback plan that we saw in the first round not necessarily as safe as it once was.
I do like this switch from Penguin. I think the Cali play was good, at least initially, and maybe still worthwhile on that top floor site. But heading downstairs, the Cali is really going to do you pretty much nothing unless you're just going to waste it on the kitchen hatch and hope that clears it out. But generally, you need nades if you want to make that one happen. Penguin doesn't seem to have to rely on those Rotero drones, though, to make an impact. He'll just take the head of Baring straight through the wall. That's quite a good job there. But young Alec, just as before, is a player to worry about. Up above, sitting in Jim. Gotcha as well. Holding this position in Logi with all of that soft destruction towards that kitchen hatch. So a lot of impact can still be felt on this top floor. And this is the consequence of not going for the top-down clear and only clearing straight in on that first floor. Yes, you can cut off the rotation that Orgless wants to make. What you can't do is actually clear those defenders out. A well-placed Aruni gate will actually deal with that Rotero drone. That was interesting. A little bit of a misplay there from Penguin, but he'll still have 2 to work with, and a wasted C4 from Prod means that Parabellum have a little bit more of an edge they need, and Sight, it looks pretty understaffed to me.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that was on purpose, just to make it so they don't have to delay. In comes a flashbang. The Aruni is completely blind, but Spirits, he's gonna get a team kill onto Sonar, and he can't make it happen on Prod either. Luckily, Spirits is able to get a refrag, I guess, with the Claymore, as Kool-Aid finishes off Oasis. Spirits actually TKing Penguin in the meantime. There's just team kills all over the place. We'll end up in a 1v1 after that confusing scuffle, but with the plant down, Kool-Aid has the advantage. Both he and Prod are pretty low, and he's got the angle, but wow, just through the wall. Prod attempting to pre-fire the rotate. Kool-Aid knows what's up. He just wall bangs the Kai down. That ties our score 2-2.
Parabellum, they're not disappointing on this basement site, that is for sure. I mean, I wouldn't say it's consistent because there's some mid-round struggles. We saw 2 team kills that time, which is shocking to say.
Spurs is just letting the LMG sing. His teammates got in the way. That's on them.
You know what? Good point. But I do like the point you made about the Rotero drone usage. They knew there was an Aruni in play, and so either that's clearing out the barricade by blowing it up with the drone, or dealing with that Aruni gate. So when you actually get that barricade open, you're right. You don't have to waste time throwing a flashbang, throwing another drone, throwing anything into there. You actually have to, you can just run into sight, and that opening is freed up for you. That element of surprise really working for them there. I can't help but think Orgless really missed a crucial element of that first round. Like, the reason their first round was lost because Parabellum made a quick adaptation to push to the site. This round was no different. Parabellum, knowing there were likely 2 players on that top floor, ignored them and said, we've got that pick on the middle floor. We know there are only 2 players downstairs. Let's go get them. They did it again, and Orgless was none the wiser. A retake attempt really couldn't happen. There wasn't really enough manpower to push in from above or drop down at the right time. It was another really well-played push from Parabellum, and Orgless just not making the correct change, not quite learning from round number 1, and that's going to cost them.
Well, it's going to be a gym defense. Once again from Orgless. They were successful on this site, and it looks like that success will be continued. Young Alec with a very early on kill, and that's none other than Penguin off the board. No Rotero drones used. That is a lot of utility that will probably be sorely missed.
Especially on this cache clear. I mean, this is where the Rotero drones could really be helpful. I mean, you really want those to clear out these deployable shields, these tight positions, forcing those defenders out, and you're not going to have those anymore. Instead, well, you're going to have to rely on the old-fashioned way of clearing things out with a couple of flashbangs and, well, a couple of attackers just out-fragging and out-trading anyone sitting in the site. Kool-Aid is actually going to be forced to burn both of his exothermic charges. Thankfully, Sonar was not the opening pick this time and will be able to join the hard breaching potential of this team, but Spirits will not be able to do much of anything as Gotcha will continue the aggression as that alibi and take care of the Zofia, leaving Parabellum in a 3v5.
Yeah, good jump out from Gotcha. No one else in a position to refrag. Sonar will drop, trying to push from bottom red as the rest of his team pressures barring from the top, and Sonar will be successful in his endeavor. Down goes the Jaeger. Finally, a kill comes through for Parabellum. But is it going to be too little too late? There's only a minute 20 to play with. They are still down a man. There's still plenty of smoke canisters. There's still a C4 in the pocket of Oasis, and it looks like Sonar is going to replace Spirits in that position on the balcony. Kool-Aid will take out the BP, so no more free info. But Sonar, just like his previous teammate, will be downed. Likely recoverable, though. Luckily for Parabellum, he will slink over to Kool-Aid and will still be at a 3 versus 4. No two-man disadvantage for PB, at least not yet. Gotcha holding the long angle, spots Kool-Aid for just a second, doesn't pull the trigger in time, and this shield could prove troublesome. I'm not quite sure if Eska still has any nades left as he's on a drone, but if he doesn't, no, he does not. That shield in and of itself could entirely stop this construction push, and that's going to force all of Parabellum over towards Logi.
And Orgless will know that the moment they don't see anybody coming from construction. They know that shield is there. They can feel very comfortable, and they just have to turn their attention to that logistics side. They also know somebody's coming up the main stairs. Eska, first player to take that fight, but he will miraculously win it out against Gotcha. Young Alec gets a kill in the meantime. Now Oasis will take care of Eska diligently, and it's going to be all up to Kool-Aid, but an SMG-11 to the face is all Kool-Aid will find as he tries to push the site on his own. Another great round from Orgless, taking gym and bedroom successfully.
Yeah, not only was that a good cash hold to start off, young Alec getting a pick and only trading out their Jaeger for a Flores, that's huge, but it wasn't just that 1-for-1. It was Gotcha getting the run out on Spirits and then also downing Sonar. And because you don't have the Rotero drones, you don't have the Zoph's utility, you've already used the nades, that shield, watching the construction door, all the defender had to do was sit there menacingly. PB could do nothing about it. What does that force? That forced an entire rotation. One up main stairs, one through Logi, one from the windows, and none of those 3 players, as they are completely separated, were successful. They all lost their ones because of some good utility play from Orgless. Now leading 3-2, if only by 1 round. Cash did go their way as well. That's something to remember. This could very well possibly be a 4-2 half if Parabellum don't shore up their attack. One of the major flaws in it being retaining control of stock and trying to take into garage.
They've also lost out in a lot of these opening duels, right? We've seen Orgless apply a good bit of aggression here and there. Gotcha especially, who's been surprisingly consistent on the alibi, which is not something I expected to see from this team. But, you know, you put a great gun with a great sight in a great player's hand, and all the results will speak for themselves. He's 3-5 right now, so Gotcha hasn't quite gone positive, but he's made a huge impact in these initial kills. And, I mean, in that last round, young Alec as well, getting that opening kill onto Penguin. An opening kill like that so early in the round just shuts down the early attacking momentum and really makes it a lot harder to go through your pretty normal checklist if you're an attacking team. That checklist will begin in this case by clearing out down below. Like last time, Spirits hungry for that kill onto Gotcha. He'll now have the red pings and the pre-fire. He'll get that kill, but Oasis from above. An excellent heads-up play to cover his teammate, but I think Gotcha would like to have that one back, just slowly backing up the red stairs, and that will not allow him to survive, even with the coverage of his teammate.
Ike, I am amazed that Spirits was able to flick up and hit Gotcha in the head like that before he died, but now, unfortunately for PB, it seems as if they don't know where the Electro Claw is. They already used Callie's utility on the wall. They saw that, no, there is no Electro Claw on the wall itself. They were not able to destroy it, and now they're kind of like, well, now what? The main breach is pretty much off limits. You see all of PB Now setting up towards the Logi side of things, perhaps for a construction side push. Kool-Aid drops down. His task now to open the trash wall, so it looks like, yeah, this is fully going to be committed over towards Khan. But there is a player in Khan that they've got to worry about, and his name is Young Alec. He will get another kill onto Kool-Aid. No refrag just yet, and as Eska takes down the wall, he's going to have to worry about a heads-up gunfight. He won't win it. Kool-Aid, as well as Eska, go down both to Young Alec. Sonar will shoot him in the back. I guess that's really the only reliable way to kill Young Alec. That puts PB in a 2v3 with only one avenue to access the site from.
Penguin nearly spotting out Oasis there behind the bomb chassis, but can't quite make it happen. Another player as well, actually, darting back and forth by the green box. Kill here would be really helpful for Parabellum because of this disadvantage right now, because they only have the one avenue to push through, but man, it is not going to go their way. A C4 going to greet him, and Prod on the swing will finish the damage off to Sonar. That's going to leave Penguin alone now in a 1v3. Can't even get past the main stair, the red stairs rather. A pre-fire will be quickly found with an SMG-11, and there it goes. That's going to be a very successful half from Orgless, 4-2, the scoreline at the switch, which you've got to remember. This map, although it may not be extremely defensive-sided, we've got some bans here that do lead this map pretty defensive-sided. The Thatcher and the Maverick are taken off the board, and you still have some very strong defensive operators, the Kaid specifically, left up and in play. That really lends itself to a very defensive-sided game, and Parabellum, they fell victim to that on their attacking half, but this is where they can turn that around.
Yeah, like you said, normally Clubhouse very even, but being left up, the Cade really deciding that last round. I mean, that one Electro Claw on the wall that PB couldn't get rid of forces an entire rotate right into the clutches of Young Alec. There's a barricade at his back. He knows there's only one direction he's got to look. He gets both Kool-Aid and Eska. And I mean, the defenders know exactly what Parabellum are up to. So, unfortunately, the Ash, gotcha. Despite being an old man, at least by siege standards, will be donning that operator. We've also got a little bit of an interesting pick from Parabellum. The Tachanka. Again, if you were not privy to the update, not only did Alibi get a 1.5, but Chanka now has a shield, so he is way, way more viable than he once was. He can almost take the place of a Smoke. You know, they're not exactly the same operator, but they do a very similar job, and now they both take shields, and they can both do site reconstruction, as you see from Penguin. I'm very intrigued to find out in the later stages of this round exactly where that Shumika launcher is going to be dedicated to.
Well, you mentioned the shield change, but it's also worth mentioning the destruction change. His LMG buffed a little bit, increased destruction
and he
there.
has more shots, right, with the launcher?
And yes, 14 shots with the Shumika launcher instead of 10, which, I mean, tremendously assists in the time waste potential that he provides, right? You combine that with a C4, which Kool-Aid is bringing right now, and, well, you've at least had a lot of potential, but Barring will quickly remedy that. Says goodbye to Kool-Aid and Spirits, like very clean double kill, removing any additional Wamai magnets from coming back into this game and taking out a C4. That is massive, and there's no way around that. Eska does have a C4 as well, so you've got some of that potential to assist, but now it is a 3v5, and, oh, well, you've got Penguin with an LMG. That's a good kill onto Gotcha, so that's a certain way to bring things back a little bit here, but still a good way to go. Young Alec going to take a bit of damage there. Penguin doing a really good job on the vertical holes right now, but Orgless still in the upper hand with a man advantage and with a lot of time at their fingertips.
We say they've got the upper hand, but it looks like Orgless are faced with a very similar issue that ended up dooming PB, and that's that they just can't get through the breach. The Electro Claw is not being found. They don't have anything to deal with it, and this is once again gonna be a full rotation. It looks like the Thermite now is tasked with opening up Garage, but Young Alec goes down to Sonar, still holding Rafters. The Jaeger, not an operator that we're used to seeing Sonar play, but he's gonna do work with it, finding one kill. Maybe looking for the second on Prod, as bottom Garage will be open. open, so Sonar's position in Rafters now a little less safe. He's got Penguin to assist, perhaps with that Shumika launcher. He can delay bottom garage by the breach. He might even be able to delay the steps, but as a player comes up red, I'm not sure if PB know this. Here comes Barring, and there's Esco with the perfect cover, knocking him off the board. That leaves just Prod and Oasis. The man count has now swung in the defense's favor. Fire raining down upon Prod. He can't make any progress. This is beautiful delay work from the Chonka. That forces Oasis to make a play up red. He completely whiffs, and it's all up to Prod. 1v3, stuck in bottom garage, no diffuser control to his name, only 20 seconds to play with, and he's got both Sonar and Penguin watching the angle. It's Sonar to grab his second kill, and the first defense goes the way of PB.
Wow. That is one way to end the round from Parabellum. It was a 5v3 from pretty much the onset after Barring got a double kill, and guess how many deaths Parabellum had the rest of the round? None.
Wait, Aww.
Sorry. The classic bit ruined.
Man.
They did not die. They played that extremely well. And not only that, but, I mean, you call out the perfect situation. This is going to be a defensive-sided Clubhouse. There is no way around that. I don't think Orgless had a great first half, don't get me wrong, but Parabellum, just seeing how that round progressed, it was defensive-sided at its core. Any other situation in a 5v3 or a 4v3, when Orgless has the edge and has 90 seconds plus still to work with, so much utility to use, that's going to be an attacker win every single time. But like you highlighted in the middle of that round, Harrison, the Electro Claw changed the entire course of the round. The fact that Kaid is still in play turned around. That was heavily attacker favored, at least from an outside perspective. But when you look at it, was defensive sided all the way. One piece of utility prevented Orgless from doing the plan they wanted to do. They didn't want to commit to a full rotation over towards construction, so they got picked apart one by one. Beautifully played from Parabellum. That's how you play a 3v5. That's how you use the Tachanka. It's not something we say very often. That is a perfect usage of the Shumika launcher and the time waste of the 14 fire grenades that he now brings to the table.
Yeah, that was perfect from Penguin, really constricting that attack and ensuring that even in that scenario, he didn't let the attackers get any sort of foothold. Not even a minuscule one. Now, we see a roam that Parabellum loves to do. It is the alibi roam, a shield and lounge. Eska playing in secret to help cover, and he's going to be scanning up towards Plat, as normally the attackers are going to be clearing this roam. So it's a pretty intricate play that we'll describe as the round progresses, depending on where Orgless decides to push from. And they're going to opt for Jacuzzi's side. So that pulse position in secret, not going to be as influential as Eska would like. So maybe he can rotate towards the other side of the building and assist Spirits as well as Penguin. Maybe he's just going to chill on site and call out for his site players of Kool-Aid and Sonar. Again, the Chonka being played, and Kool-Aid currently donning the Ella shotgun of all weapons. But so far, the roam towards Cash is just going to be largely ignored.
Parabellum seemed comfortable. And honestly, I would too. Orgless haven't made much progress. They have gotten this kitchen hatch open a little bit. They're trying to play the impact trick game, but nobody on the side of Parabellum has an impact. You've got 3 deployable shields and 2 nitro cells, so that's not really going to be your priority. But you are still trying to waste as much time as possible. You've also done a good job of doing that. Finally, Orgless are in business here. They're sledging open these floor holes. They're trying to pressure down on to the site, but they have not dealt with anybody upstairs. There are still some players to worry about. They've got some intel being relayed to them by Eska, and at any time, Spirits and Penguin now could get into the action and make something happen here. So Penguin has rotated around back down into Oil Pit through Garage, so he's back on the site itself, but still one player above. And with 45 seconds to go, Orgless do not seem to be aware of this, and this could be a serious problem, because Parabellum have all the intel to work with, but not the man count now. Barring pushing on in, Gotcha as well. They'll both get a kill. They know position of one player over in dirt, or at least Penguin does, but he's not going to be able to stop the diffuser from going down. Young Alec picks up a kill onto Sonar. Penguin is there on the trade to get Prod, but now in a 2v4, Eska and Penguin have to get something going. They'll do that brilliantly, silencing Barring and Oasis. But Gotcha and Young Alec are still here on the coverage, and Penguin, running into the middle of the site, seemingly does not know what he has to deal with. Now Eska has a bit more intel, but a pre-fire from Gotcha will finish out the round, and Orgless will bounce back and take the basement site.
Beautiful 3K from the IGL and Jackal of Orgless. The roam being completely ignored means that it really wasted no time. It wasted no manpower from Orgless. They could fully turn their attention to the site. They had the flank cutoff set up, so they would know if anyone was going to pressure them unilaterally on that second floor. And they just went for it. They knew kitchen was clear. They dropped down. The flames don't do anything. The Ella mines don't do anything. Kool-Aid is ineffective with the Ella shotgun as he is just caught sprinting across the site by Gotcha. And Orgless are able to find all the kills from dirt, from the hatch, from main stairs. Parabellum could not fight back until it was just Eska and Penguin when they caught a couple of Orgless players out of position in the post plant, but still, Gotcha just playing by the jukebox, completely left unchecked. They had no info on the Jackal. He gets one. Eska's got two people to worry about. Unfortunately, at that range, at that close range with a UMP against a C7E, very unlikely that you're going to win that gunfight. So well played by Orgless. They extend their lead to 2 rounds now. They're up 5-3. Parabellum are going to have to remedy this defense if they want any chance of still taking this in regulation, because if Parabellum are able to win, they have to win. It guarantees them playoffs. But again, it needs to be a victory. Even if they only lose in OT, there's still the possibility that they don't make playoffs. If SH take that regulation win and go up to 11 points, they hold the tiebreaker over PB.
Something that we can already tell that Parabellum have remedies. They made a pretty massive change here. The Ella is gone, and that's placed by a Kaid. So right then and there, you've got a huge difference. Instead of Pulse, Ella, Alibi, Tachanka, 4 players we actually rarely get to see in the game at all, we've got 3 of them instead of all 4. The Kaid will be a major factor here. They're going to electrify those hatches. They're going to make sure that Orgless has to run through those extra steps, something that they neglected to do in the previous round. I don't know if that was an oversight, but I assume instead it was Parabellum going, you know what, Orgless are going to probably have a different plan, knowing that we're going to bring the Kate or suspecting that. Why don't we bring the Ella and a deployable shield and a shotgun to shake things up here? But now Kool-Aid going back to a more standard and I'd argue a safer pick here. And they're hoping that on this repeat of the basement site, that is the difference that they need.
Oh!
That delay, significant enough to get a perfect C4. I mean, that is well placed from Eska. That's exactly what the heartbeat sensor is for, and that is exactly how Parabellum wanted to start this round.
That is Sledge dead. That is nades off the board, and that is Alec now snuffed out first. Beautiful kill by Eska. We also saw a shield that Sonar is playing behind in Moto. I'm not sure if they played that the first time around, but it's definitely interesting. Knowing that the Moto hatch cannot be opened because it's Electroclawed, I mean, Sonar is safe to play here to delay main stairs, but Gotcha, once again, they've got the flank cams, and he knows where Penguin is pushing from. That's an easy kill for the Jackal, and he's on the hunt for spirits as well. They've had the yellow pings. They know where the mute is going to be coming from, and he's going to lose his fight to the Jackal. A big 2-piece for Gotcha to clear the roam and put things back in his team's favor.
Man, with the advantage in their hands, Parabellum got a bit too aggressive. First, it was Penguin on the peak. Then it was Spirits, and now Kool-Aid as well will fall to Prod. Eska has an answer for that. He'll silence Gotcha with the UMP, but he can't stop the plant from Oasis going down because Prod is in the middle of the site on the coverage. Prod will down his teammate as he got confused with a prone body on the ground, and Sonar will be more than happy to claim that kill. But still, he needs to find 2 more to have any shot at this. Both players are on the site. Nobody's playing vertical, so this is a doable round, but he's got to find one on the long angle first. That's Prod. He won't quite finish him off, but he will swing around and find Oasis. This could be big. Prod is very low HP. Send over some fire, and this could get rather interesting. Sonar needs to get his gun out. He will. A pre-fire won't find it. Prod darting back and forth between the hallway. He'll whip out the bearing 9. Sonar trying to find this kill, but Prod will win it out with the bearing 9 in hand. Unbelievable play there from Prod, avoiding near death on 5 different occasions, only to swing around and win it out in the end.
Well played by Prod, and Sonar dropping the ball. They even gifted him a team kill. And he still couldn't do it. He just took a little bit too much time moving into Arsenal. Sure, he gets the kill on Oasis. Prod was so low, but you could see Sonar. I mean, Prod was just so maneuverable as that 3-speed Hibana. Sonar couldn't pin him down. I would have maybe liked to see Sonar fire off the retreat first. I mean, he fired off AKs, then he went behind the box, and that allowed Prod to slip by over towards the hallway. He just kept peeking around over and over again, putting pressure on Sonar, forcing the Chonka to look different ways. And you saw at the end there, Chonka, I mean, he had absolutely no idea where Prod ran to. Well played by the Hibana. That puts them on map and match point. Any points that they take here guarantees them first place, no matter what. I mean, they might already have it because they've gone perfect throughout their season so far. Yeah, they already have
gotten
first
the 1
place.
point here, so there you go.
They already have first place. If they beat PB, they will make sure that the only team within striking distance cannot dethrone them. And first place, it's not just, bragging rights. It's a first-round bye in playoffs.
First round bye gives you time to prep on your opponents coming up. It gives you, well, time to, rest as well. All of these things, crazy beneficial when it comes to your shot in playoffs when it is, you've got one shot, you've got a best of 3 to just continue your playoff hopes, get yourself to that final, and pull out that win. We're a long way from there, but we're not a long way from the conclusion of this map unless Parabellum can adjust successfully following the tactical timeout. Really was thinking this map would be defensive-sided, but Orgless are making me bite my tongue on that one. They have played phenomenal on the attacking side, and even if Parabellum get an early edge, that last round is a perfect example. Orgless persist and are ready to answer them back.
No.
That is quite a change. Kool-Aid going for a very classic spawn peek all the way out towards, I think it's called shipping, and that's going to be a fantastic opening pick. Dropping the diffuser out of reach. Someone's going to have to go get that. That'll be Gotcha, who rotates around to grab that up. But that is Oasis taken off the board. That is one of your primary hard breachers that you'd really like to have back in this situation. Thankfully, you've got Prod in play and the X-Kairos pellets to assist, but man, you'd like that kill back if you're Orgless.
What a spawn peek from the cooler. I really gotta say, too, the alibi roam not working out for Parabellum, I think is less on Orgless. Well, not really less on Orgless, but Orgless haven't been contesting it, and that's how you gotta play it. So far, every time we've seen Parabellum run that roam, like in the Okami game, Okami would try to pressure it, they would try to clear it from cache, they would fail every time. You have to ignore it, and every time Orgless would just set up a flank cam. Parabellum, they should have just fallen back to site through secret, but they decided to get jiggy with it. They decided they wanted to try and pressure these guys in bar, and it really bit them because of the good info game from Orgless. So, Thermite down. You only have a Hibana to work with, and our charges being sent onto the con wall are currently muted. Whether or not they take their Electro Claw and reposition it to this wall is another story, though. Parabellum certainly have the opportunity to deny any and all hard breach permanently, but as the nade goes down, a C4 will answer. It will not be successful, but it will take off a lot of those X-Kairos. Now that's just a slim hole into the objective rather than a full one that you can move through.
Man, that C4 was inches away from getting a triple kill had that snuck through the gap there, but thankfully for Orgless, they'll avoid that one, but they won't avoid the kill on Tabaring. That's a good shot from Eska. He'll be down for his troubles and likely unable to be recovered considering the time in the round, but Penguin looks like he will attempt it. Kool-Aid will now stall out the rest of this pressure while his teammate can get back in this fight, but a good smoke will now allow this push to come through. Gotcha gets one.
No.
Prod makes sure to kill his teammate to make this one even more challenging, and with Penguin taking down Gotcha for good, it's going to be a 1 HP Prod against 4. He'll swing around with a bearing 9, he'll get one headshot, looks for 2, and actually gets the second, but now Penguin and Eska, they have got to be very careful because just like Prod, they are very low on HP. Unfortunately for Prod, he doesn't have the diffuser in hand, and now the couple of fires going his way, that is a sufficient distraction for Eska to swing himself, and he'll get a kill to boot.
That was kind of funny. Like he saw the fires, there was like a deer in the headlights, and that allowed Eska to just swing on through. Well tried from Prod. That was a very good attempt, catching 2 of those players and leaving the only 2 members of Parabellum with just 1 HP. But unfortunately, locking up the breaches once again, Orgless were forced through a doorway. Parabellum knew it. Even and Prod even team killed. How many team kills have we seen so far? Like 4 or 5?
I
It's
think
been
four?
it's been quite the number so far through this game. PB are sure to take advantage of it, but I don't know. I mean, they're gonna play a very different style of defense, but still going to church for a third time. I really got to question the decision. I know that PB like this map. Well, I know Penguin doesn't like the map on a personal level, but I know the team likes this map. They're comfortable on this map. Why have they not just gone to gym?
It's an interesting question because it seems rather uncharacteristic of a team like Parabellum that prides themselves on their map pool, on their experience. Hell, I mean, it's an invite level team. And they're refusing to go to a site that, you know, would be probably quite productive considering they've lost church both times they went here before, just 2 and 3 rounds ago. So maybe they're confident they can remedy something. They've got a clear picture of what they have to fix. But they're not going to do too much, at least on the surface, to change that one up. You are going to do away with the alibi. That is very refreshing to see. You're going to bring out Penguin on the smoke instead. And you're going to do away with the mute in favor of a Jaeger and a Malusi. So quite a few changes here. The pulse is also gone. So a lot of differences here. But one thing is consistent, and that is you've got a lot of C4s and a lot of deployable shields. You're playing a heavy utility game on the site. Eska last time found a great opening pick with that Nitro Cell into Kitchen. Probably looking to do so again.
He's not on the pulse, though, anymore, so he doesn't have that hard info that assuredly aided him in that initial kill on Alec, and there you go. The C4 goes up, and it is wasted. The attempt thwarted by the sneaky feet of Orgless. So, 1 C4 off the board. That leaves 1 in the hands of Kool-Aid. And now we see something that we haven't seen from Parabellum, and it's weird for me to say, but for the first time, we're going to see a smoke. We saw it from Orgless. Haven't seen it from PB. So they're comboing the smoke and the Tachanka. Plenty of delay power for this defense. They can effectively deny, probably like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And after seeing the sledge, Eska actually not using the C4. I thought I heard an explosion earlier, but instead it was just pre-placed. Now, it won't grab a kill, but it'll still down young Alec. And now the sledge is going to have to sledge more carefully.
Young Alec is going to be wary of that, knowing there's at least 1 more C4 in play. That'll be in the hands of Kool-Aid, unsure probably of what else awaits him on this bottom floor. Of course, they know the Tachanka is there because they've heard the echoing sound of that LMG, and you'll also see the Shumika launchers flying across blue here as Sonar is trying to help his teammate Spirits here, holding that back generator position. Oasis now attempting a drop in Moto, which he will now complete, but he'll just use that to open up this church wall. In the meantime, Spirits will make quick work of barring, shutting down that at least initial blue push, but Gotcha is here as well, but a little bit lagging behind. Oasis hoping to change the course of the round, but he's not going to be able to stop young Alec from falling at the hands of Sonar. Thankfully, you've got Prod in play, who'll deal effectively with Kool-Aid, but still, man down for Orgless in this 3v4. Sonar trying to delay, but a massive play from Oasis. Combine that with a kill onto Penguin from Gotcha, and this one is a 2v2 now that Eska got a trade in return. Plant going down, and all that plant denial we talked about is out of this round, so now it's got to be an old-fashioned retake. Prod here on the long angle, trying to cover the hallway. Eska hoping to circumvent that by sneaking his way around towards meeting. No way to open up a rotation. This one is going to come down to Spirits right now. He'll go for a couple of pre-fires. He knows where one player is. Second player now, bottom of main stairs. He'll get that kill. Pre-fire onto Oasis will land, and triple kill for Spirits. Hanging on to this round. Orgless, a great play pushing on into Church, but Parabellum deny it.
Wow, Spirits. What a play. But that was way too close for comfort. You can see it on the cameras. 3 players on PB. That's Penguin, farthest to the left. Spirits and Eska. They're currently playing together. You can see they are not satisfied with that round. Again, like I said, way too close for comfort. They had almost everything in their favor. They had the opening pick. They were delaying the breach. They even got a second. Then what happens? Prod gets a trade. Oasis barrels into Church through the fire and the flame. He doesn't care. Down goes Chonka. Gotcha gets his own pick into blue. And all that delay power, it's gone. Snapped away. Spirits gets a trade. Or sorry, Eska gets a trade, I believe, and it was put down to a 2v2. But Eska and Spirits, towards the latter half of that round, they didn't really play together all that much. They were both coming from different avenues. That's why when Prod got the initial kill onto Eska, I almost thought the round was over, but luckily Spirits is just nasty like that. He gets the kill onto Prod and thwarts the refrag attempt that, I really thought was going to work out in the favor of Orgless. That was the Jaeger putting the team on his back. And PB they are going to need something more solid if they want to take this to OT. They'll finally go to Jim, and now we'll see exactly how they hold it, or we'll see exactly why they were avoiding it.
One more thing to highlight about that last round. I really thought Oasis won the round for Orgless. That decision to push through the fire and go for that frag on the Tachanka, knowing that the Shumika launcher was likely in the Tachanka's hand, a correct assumption, because they were just constantly pumping out the fire. Oasis said, you know what? There's this concentrated pool of fire. I can push through it quickly. I just have to be decisive about it. And man, that was brilliant. And it nearly worked out. Well, it did work out. They got the plant down, everything right, but man, Spirits just brings it back and makes it happen here. Both of these teams, I mean, what's amazing is that everyone is contributing across the board. Barring even on the entry role, has fewer kills than the hard support of Orgless. Oasis and Prod, who have been on support all night, are putting up incredible numbers. It is so great to see everyone in this lobby at their absolute best right now. But Parabellum, they will need to step it up and finish this map with a little more of a resounding conclusion than the previous round if they want to force this one into overtime. Like you said, it's Jim. We've got a CCTV and cash hold here that Spirits is now spearheading, but quickly remedied by Gotcha, walking up the red stairs. Good night to Kool-Aid. Good night to Spirits. A 5v3 for Orgless now.
Absolutely massive from Gotcha. Not only was the drone distracting Kool-Aid enough for Gotcha to make the push, but it looked like the call didn't come in time. Spirits was caught with his back turned. Those two frags, that one miscommunication from PB, that could win Orgless the game. Sonar's not going to hold on to the window long enough. He almost spotted the top of young Alec's head. And as he swings, young Alec will kill. It's a 5 versus 2. Penguin needs this flank to be successful, but no, Barring shuts him down. It's a 1v5 for Eska, and he's not going to be able to make it happen. Orgless on round 12 take it flawlessly. They shut down PB. They confirm first place, and they will be officially the #1 team in Group A.